from Astoria to the Rockaways, it's time for the Queens New Yorker. And here is the man who brings you the info, the uber, snazzy, and jazzy, Mr. Jason D'Antonio!
Thank you, Jason Kelly, and welcome everybody, and I mean everybody out there who's listening to this great episode of the Queens New Yorker. It's episode 4. We have a great show lined up for you. It's Long Island City, the second city in the borough of Queens, and we are going to cover it today on our show. So let's do it right now. Cover the show, that is. Cover Long Island City. All right. Hope you all had a great weekend, because I tell you, when we have a weekend here, it's usually one of those situations where normally things are just so chaotic and so crazy, you just never know which way it's going to go. But on the flip side, let me tell you what's going on as far as our Mixcloud page. We have to date right now, this is show number 4, 115 followers. Thank you so much for your support of the Queens New Yorker. Total plays, 29. Minutes listened. Now, this is interesting for not even 3 shows yet. 488 minutes, almost 500 minutes listened. 10 favorites, no comments, and 1 repost. Whew. Wow. So far, the show is taking off great for 4 weeks. All right. So let's look at Long Island City. It's the westernmost residential and commercial neighborhood of the New York City borough of Queens. It's noted for its rapid and ongoing residential growth and gentrification, its waterfront parks, and its thriving arts community. LIC, which is Long Island City, we'll use that, has among the highest concentration of art galleries, art institutions, and studio space of any neighborhood in New York City, and is bordered by Astoria to the north, the East River to the west, Hazen Street, 49th Street, and New Calvary Cemetery in Sunnyside to the east, and Newtown Creek, which separates Queens from Greenpoint, Brooklyn, to the south. It originally was the seat of government of the town of Newtown and remains the largest neighborhood in Queens. The area is part of Queens Community Board 1 and located north of the Queensboro Bridge and Queens Plaza, and it is also of Queens Community Board 2 to the south. LIC is the eastern terminus of the Queensboro Bridge, also known as the 59th Street Bridge, which is the only non-toll automotive route connecting Queens and Manhattan. Northwest of the bridge terminus are the Queensbridge Houses, which is a development of the New York City Housing Authority and the largest public housing complex in North America. Long Island City, as its name suggests, was formerly a city created in 1870 from the merger of the village of Astoria and the hamlets of Ravenswood, Hunters Point, Blissville, Sunnyside, Dutch Kills, Steinway, Bowery Bay, and Middleton in the town of Newtown. At time of incorporation, Long Island City had between 12,000 and 15,000 residents. Its charter provided for an elected mayor and a 10-member board of aldermen, with 2 representing each of the city's 5 wards. City ordinances could be passed by a majority vote of the board of aldermen and the mayor's signature. LIC held its first election on July 5th of 1870, and residents elected A.D. Delmars the first mayor. Now, Delmars ran as both a Democrat and a Republican. The first elected board of aldermen was H. Rudolph and Patrick Lonergan, which of Ward 1, Francis McNenna, and William E. Bragall. George Hunter and Mr. Williams, they were the 3rd ward. James R. Bennett and John Weggert was Ward 4, and E.M. Hartshort and William Carlin were the 5th ward. The mayor and the aldermen were inaugurated on July 18, 1870. In the 1880s, Mayor Debovzier, I think that is. Yeah. De Beauvois, actually. Devois. Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor Dubois. Okay. Nearly bankrupted the Long Island City government by embezzling, of which he was convicted. Many dissatisfied residents of Astoria circulated a petition to ask the New York State Legislature to allow it to secede from Long Island City and reincorporate as the village of Astoria, as it existed prior to the incorporation of Long Island City in 1884. The petition was ultimately dropped by the citizens. LIC continued to exist as an incorporated city until 1898, when all of Queens was annexed to New York City. And the last mayor of Long Island City was a notorious Irish-American named Patrick Jerome Battle-Axe Gleason. Ooh. The city surrendered its independence in 1898 to become part of the city of Greater New York. However, Long Island City survives a zip code 11101 and zip code prefix 111 with its own main post office, and was formerly a sectional center facility. Since 1985, the Greater Astoria Historical Society, which is a nonprofit cultural and historical organization, has been preserving the past and promoting the future of the neighborhoods that are part of historic Long Island City. The Common Council of Long Island City in 1873 adopted the coat of arms as emblematical of the varied interest represented by Long Island City. It was designed by George H. Williams of Ravenswood. The overall composition was inspired by New York City's coat of arms, and the shield is rich in historic allusion, including Native American, Dutch, and English symbols. In 1898, Long Island City became part of New York City. And through the 1930s, numerous subway tunnels, the Queens Midtown Tunnel and the Queensboro Bridge, were built to connect the neighborhood to Manhattan. By the 1970s, the factories in Long Island City were abandoned, and in 1981, Queens West, on the west side of Long Island City, was developed to revitalize the area. Finally, in 2001, the neighborhood was rezoned from an industrial neighborhood to a residential neighborhood, and the area underwent gentrification, with developments such as Hunters Point South being built in the area. In 2006, a resident of nearby Woodside, Hiroyuki Tekanaga, proposed establishing a Japantown in Long Island City. In addition to the Hunters Point Historic District and Queensboro Bridge, the 45th Road, which is the Courthouse Square Station, which is the dual system IRT, Long Island City Courthouse Complex, and United States Post Office are listed on the National Register of Historical Places. Now, based on the data from the 2010 United States Census, the population of the combined Queensbridge, Ravenswood, Long Island City neighborhood was 20,030, which was a decrease of 1,074 from the 21,104 counted in 2000. Covering an area of 540.94 acres, the neighborhood had a population density of 37 inhabitants per acre. The racial makeup of the neighborhood was 14.7% white, 25.9% African American, 0.3% Native American, 15.5% Asian, no Pacific Islanders, 1.2% from other races, and 1.9% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 40.5% of the population. LIC was once home to many factories and bakeries, some of which are now finding new uses. The former Silver Cup Bakery is now home to Silver Cup Studios, which has produced notable works such as NBC's 30 Rock and HBO's Sex and the City. The Silver Cup sign is visible from the IRT Flushing Line and BMT Astoria Line trains going into and out of Queensboro Plaza. The former Sunshine Bakery is now one of the buildings which houses LaGuardia Community College. Another buildings on the campus originally served as the location of the Ford Instrument Company, which was at one time a major producer of precision machines and devices. Artist Isamu Noguchi converted a photo engraving plant into a workshop. The site is now the Noguchi Museum, which was a space dedicated to his work. The Standard Motor Products headquarters, manufacturing site producing items like distributor caps, was once located in the industrial neighborhood of Long Island City until purchased by Acumen Partners in 2008 for $40 million. The Standard Motor Products building was put on the market by Acumen in 2014 and acquired by RXR Realty, LLC, for $110 million, and the former factory built in 1919, which now houses the Jim Henson Company Society Awards and a commercial rooftop farm run by Brooklyn Grange. High-rise housing is being built on the former Pepsi-Cola site on the East River. From June of 2002 to September of 2004, the former Swingline Staplers plant was a temporary headquarters of the Museum of Modern Art. Other former factories in Long Island City included Fisher Electronics and Chiclets Gum. Long Island City's turn-of-the-century district of residential towers, called Queens West, is located along the East River just north of the Long Island Railroad's Long Island City Station. Redevelopment in Queens West reflects the intent to have the area as a major residential area in New York City, with its high-rise residences very close to public transportation, making it convenient for commuters to travel to Manhattan by ferry or subway. The first tower, the 42nd floor City Lights, opened in 1998 with an elementary school at the base, and others have been completed since then, and more are being planned or under construction. Today, the most prominent structure, other than the Queensboro Bridge, is the community's green skyscraper, the 658-foot City Court building built in 1989 on Courthouse Square. It is the tallest building on Long Island and in any of the New York City boroughs outside of Manhattan. Socioeconomic diversity is very visible in Long Island City, and the Queensbridge houses are composed of over 3,000 units, making it the largest public housing complex in North America. Eagle Electric, now known as Cooper Wiring Service Devices, was one of the last major factories in the area before it moved to China. Plant number 7, which was the largest of their factories and housed their corporate offices, is now being converted to residential luxury lofts. Long Island City is currently home to the largest fortune cookie factory in the United States, owned by Wonton Foods, and producing 4 million fortune cookies a day. Lucky numbers included on fortunes in the company's cookies led to 110 people across the United States winning $100,000 each in a May 2000 drawing for Powerball. Online grocery company Fresh Direct serves the greater New York metropolitan area via deliveries from a warehouse and administrative offices on Borden Avenue. Customer can also order online and come to the warehouse for pickup. The Brooks Brothers tie manufacturing factory, which employs 122 people and produces more than 1.5 million ties per year, has operated in Long Island City since 1999. Wow, talk about neckties and your shirt's never going bare, because now all you have to do is go to the Brooks Brothers to get your ties. Long Island City is the new home of the independent film studio Troma. On March 22nd, 2010, JetBlue Airways announced it was moving its headquarters from Forest Hills to Long Island City, also incorporating the jobs from its Darien, Connecticut office. And the airline, which operates its largest hub at JFK Airport, also operates from LaGuardia and made the Brewster Building in Queens Plaza its home. The airline moved there around mid-2012. In 1870, the villages of Astoria, Ravenswood, Hunters Point, Dutch Kills, Middletown, Sunnyside, Blissville, and Bowery Bay were incorporated into Long Island City. Dutch Kills was a hamlet named for its navigable tributary of Newtown Creek that occupied what today is currently Queensboro Plaza. Dutch Kills was an important road hub during the American Revolutionary War and the site of a British Army garrison from 1776 to 1783. The area supported farms during the 19th century. The canalization of Newtown Creek and the Kills at the end of the 19th century intensified industrial development of the area, which prospered until the middle of the 20th century. The neighborhood is currently undergoing a massive rezoning of mixed residential and commercial properties. And then there's Blissville, which has a zip code of 11101. It's a neighborhood within Long Island City located and bordered by Calvary Cemetery to the east, the Long Island Expressway to the north, Newtown Creek to the south, and Dutch Kills, which is a tributary of Newtown Creek to the west. Blissville was named after Neza Bliss, who owned most of the land in the 1830s and 40s. Bliss built the first version of what was known for many years as the Blissville Bridge, which was a drawbridge over Newtown Creek connecting Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and Blissville. It was replaced in the 20th century by the Greenpoint Avenue Bridge, also called the J.J. Byrne Memorial Bridge, located slightly upstream. Blissville existed as a small village until 1870 when it was incorporated into Long Island City. Historically, an industrial neighborhood, it has a small park with a monument at 54th Avenue and 48th Street. Hunters Point is on the south side of Long Island City, and it contains the Hunters Point Historic District, a national historic district that includes 19 contributing buildings along 45th Avenue between 21st and 23rd Streets, and they are a set of townhouses built in the late 19th century, and it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1973. Queens West and Hunters Point South are located on the waterfront. In the arts and culture, Long Island City was the home of 5 Points, which was a building housing artist studios, which was legally painted on by a number of graffiti artists and was prominently visible near the Court Square station on the 7 train line. The 5 Points building was painted over and demolished starting in 2013. The Fisher Landau Center for Art is a private foundation that offers regular exhibitions of contemporary art that closed to the public in November of last year. Across the street from Socrates Sculpture Park is the Isamu Noguchi Foundation and Museum, founded in 1985 by Japanese-American sculptor Isamu Noguchi. After undergoing a 2.5-year renovation, the museum opened in 2004 with newer and advanced facilities. MoMA PS1, which is an affiliate of the Museum of Modern Art, is the oldest and second largest nonprofit art center in the United States, solely devoted to contemporary art. It is named after the former public school in which it was housed. Sculpture Center is New York City's only nonprofit exhibition space dedicated to contemporary and innovative sculpture. Sculpture Center is relocated from Manhattan's Upper East Side to a former trolley repair shop in Long Island City. Queens, renovated by artist-designer Maya Lin in 2002. Founded by artists in 1928, the Sculpture Center has undergone much evolution and growth and continues to expand and challenge the definition of sculpture. Sculpture Center commissions new work and presents exhibits by emerging and established national and international artists. The museum also hosts a diverse range of public programs, including lectures, dialogues, and performances. Socrates Sculpture Park is an outdoor sculpture park located 1 block from the Noguchi Museum at the intersection of Broadway and Vernon Boulevard. The Queens Library maintains 2 branches in Long Island City and one on the ground floor of the City Court building, the Court Square branch, and one on 21st Street. And C.Me, or C.Me, is a web-based arts organization located in LIC. The organization is dedicated to supporting artistic talent, harnessing online creative communities, and promoting artists' work. City Ice Pavilion, with 33,000 square feet of skating surface, opened in LIC in late of 2008. The skating rink is on the roof of a 2-story storage facility, and Water Taxi Beach was New York City's first non-swimming urban beach and was located on the East River in Long Island City. City Hall planned to build 5,000 moderate-income apartments in this area, a 30-acre development called Hunters Point South. The beach later closed, and the apartments have been constructed. Long Island City is served by the elevated BMT Astoria line at 2 stations. That's the N&W trains. The IRT Flushing line at 4 stations, 7. And the New York City subway is also served by the underground IND 63rd Street line at 1 station, which is the F train. The IND Queens Boulevard line. You have the EM and R trains, the G train. You have a lot of trains just intersecting each other. And during the summer, the New York Water Taxi Company used to operate Water Taxi Beach, public beach artificially created on a wharf along the East River, accessible at the corner of 2nd Street and Borden Avenue. It was discontinued in 2011 due to new construction on the site of the old landing. Cars enter by the Pulaski Bridge, the Queensboro Bridge, the Queens Midtown Tunnel, and the Roosevelt Island Bridge connecting Long Island City and Astoria to Roosevelt Island. Major thoroughfares include 21st Street, which is mostly industrial and commercial, I-495, the Long Island Expressway, the westernmost portion of Northern Boulevard, which becomes Jackson Avenue, or the former name of Northern Boulevard, south of Queens Plaza, and Queens Boulevard, which leads westward to the bridge and eastward follows New York State Route 25 through Long Island and Vernon Boulevard. And it was in June of 2011 that New York Waterway started service to points along the East River. On May 1st of last year, that route became part of the New York City's Ferries East River route, which runs between Pier 11, Wall Street, in Manhattan's financial district, and the East 34th Street ferry landing in Murray Hill, Manhattan, with 5 intermediate stops in Brooklyn and Queens. 1 New York City ferry stop for the East River route is located at Hunters Point South, while another New York City ferry stop for a route to Astoria is located at Gantry Plaza State Park. The New York City Department of Education operates a facility in Long Island City, housing the Office of School Support Services and several related departments. And some of the notable residents: 7 Major League Baseball players were born in Long Island City, including Joe Benz, Ed Bolin, Al Cuccinello, Tony Cuccinello, Billy Lowe's, Gus Sandberg, and Billy Zitzman. 2 Major League Baseball players have died in Long Island City. That's John Hatfield and Dyke Varney. The NBA's meta world peace and filmmaker Julie Dash both grew up in the Queensbridge houses, as did hip-hop producer Marley Marl and rappers MC Sean, Mobb Deep, Nas, and Roxanne Shante. Well, that is a look at Long Island City, and of course we've got some pictures from the Wikipedia, which we'll post onto the Facebook group page as well as the Mixcloud page. Next time on the show, we're going to be looking at the next city in our wonderful little area, which is not Blissville, but not there, but Queensbridge. That's going to be the next area in our look at the borough of Queens. We hope you had a great time with us on this edition of the Queens New Yorker. We will, of course, see you the next time. And remember, friends, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss on the Queens New Yorker right here on Mixcloud. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
New Yorker, Jason Kelly on a Jason DeCanio online presentation. Thank you for your support.